Hi, like I said, we'll be back, and here we are. This is Kareem Million, the executive director and co founder of the Winning Edge Leadership Academy. And as you know, this is What's Next with Winning Edge, where we bring you trying to get my ring light. You know, I like to have my ring light on. Um, while we are waiting for CJ to come on, like always, you can drop your comments in the comment section or your questions in the questions box, but we want to make sure the conversation is interactive and we're answering all the questions that you have. Hello, CJ. Welcome to the party.
What's up? What's up? How you doing?
I'm fantastic now that you're here. Looking forward to our conversation.
Indeed.
I gave a brief introduction, but for those who are first now, this is your first What's Next with Winning Edge. We try to bring conversations that inspire, engage, elevate, empower the next generation of minorities in sports entertainment. And we're excited to have you here today representing Black sports professionals in the DC area, as we're always speaking to making sure that you're putting effort into growing your network, and that's what you are doing with BSPDC. And so I start every conversation the same way. Who are you? What are you doing now, and why?
All right. Well, CJ Simmons, president of Black Sports Professionals DC. Currently work at Monumental Sports and Entertainment as my full-time job. What am I doing with BSP? I mean, I think the similar things that you said. I think our three goals are networking, first and foremost, educating the younger generation or careers in sports, and then lastly, having a platform where we highlight our members and their successes. So that's pretty much our goal and what we've been trying to strive for and been pushing forward ever since we kind of got kicked off a year and a half ago.
Why?
I mean, each of those has different reasons why. I mean, networking, I think the biggest part of it was.
Why BSP? Why are you leading BSP? Let's talk about you first before we get into BSP.
I felt like I took the initiative. This is something that I thought needed to be done. And so instead of, sitting around and trying to find something, which I didn't see existing, I took the steps to, make things happen. And then as I started making things happen, people then connected me to the right people in order to do that. So I'm just a person that's, a connector in general. And, I like bringing people together. I like interacting, catching up with friends and such. So that's just who I am, just intrinsic to myself. And then just seeing where my career is going and the help that I've gotten along the way, is something that I want to pay back to the sports community as well. So,
well, we appreciate that, and that why is much needed. We need more people to just take the lead. If you've ever been on a call with me, I always say you don't have to build a school in Africa to make a change, right? Like sometimes It could literally be sending a text message, hey, I want to throw you this person I connected with, or sending an email. And as leader of BSP, you're in a space to really bring people together in a more structured way. I think a lot of times we as a community, we real good about hanging out, but hanging out with some formalities and structure to really bring about real change. So BSPDC started in a time of COVID. which I could imagine
A little
was
before COVID.
a little bit before COVID,
Mm-hmm.
but really started to gain momentum
Yep.
in time of COVID. So talk about the chapter, the DC chapter, because I think each chapter has its own flavor. Obviously, BSP Atlanta does things one way, but
Yep.
what about BSP DC makes it unique?
I mean, I think we. Am I back?
Yes, you are.
I can't hear you though, but okay, cool. My
Okay,
mom
you
was
know
trying
what?
to FaceTime me.
No, oh, so it's someone to FaceTime me.
Yeah. So say the question again?
Yes, what makes BSP DC unique to the
Oh yeah.
larger BSP on the national level?
I mean, you just look at the nature of the America that we were in just, last year and the last 4 years, I guess. And so being here in the nation's capital and around that type of political space is important. And so, taking part in a lot of different marches and activism and things like that, I think that's what gives us some closeness to the political space in general. But for us overall, I mean, having all the professional sports teams out here is pretty big. So that's one of the aspects that we have. Two, the NFL Players Association is here, so that's just another entity that's important to us. And then I think our flavor is, just trying to be, the ones out there actually making the change happen. I think that's what we've always pushed for, and not being afraid to try something new and see how it turns out. I mean, we know, there's different plans and different things we want, but we'll be the ones to try it first. And if it works, then it does. And then we're the ones that also will be willing to share our best practices with other chapters. So I think that just what makes us different.
What are some highlights from the past year for the chapter, and what you all have been able to do as you look to network and to develop your membership?
Yeah, so we were planning on having our sort of welcome and opening right before, literally the week after everything got shut down. We were planning on having a happy hour. Everything was set up. We were good to go. I think it ended up being 70 degrees that day here, so it was going to be a nice day. And quarantine and COVID hit, and then we shut down. And so at that point, we, like everybody, had to shuffle to figure out what does this new normal look like, and how long is the new normal, because it was we'll be back in the summer, or we'll be back at the end of summer. And it just kept getting shifted and shifted of not having enough information.
Right.
But I remember, sort of sulking in the sense that the event didn't happen, because that we were really, really looking forward to it. And, it was just something that we were like, all right, how do we pivot and what do we do to make something different? So I was on so many Zoom calls and stuff that were very large, and I'm on these calls, and I didn't feel like I left the happy hours with a chance to meet or know someone. There's either someone dominating the conversation, there's people who are not, don't know everyone, and they feel a little bit shy, so they're not talking as much. And then someone might say something that I'm like, oh, this is a kind of interesting. I would love to continue talking to them about it. But once the Zoom ends, it's kind of hard you might add them on LinkedIn, but it's just so much, So what we started to do is these micro happy hours. So we would do, we would have a group of about 4 to 5 people, and they would meet at least twice a month and just have a chance to talk and network with other people, but in small groups. And we felt, just over thinking of a month's time and we started it in June. So George Floyd happened end of May, and then the leagues are talking about potentially coming back, and what does that look like? Is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen? Juneteenth happened, and there were many marches, and we were involved in a march here as well. So just the month of June, there was so much just happening in the news just so rapidly that it was just crazy. So you could talk to someone early in the month, and at the end of the month, it's this is something completely, this whole new thing,
Right.
So but you also have that time to feel someone, because you meet someone for the first time and talking to them, networking with them, you get in the feel of who they are. But when you come back the second time or third time, you building that rapport with that person, so you kind of have that true network, and then we would shuffle the deck of people and or add new people once they were seeing what we were doing. And so that really helped us, kind of push forward the networking aspect, because that we felt was important. I mean, also we then added a group for students, students that were in the sports field, working on their careers and such. And we thought that was important because not only is it networking in general, but like we think, you need to know people in your industry that are on the same level as you. And as you rise, you might see this other person rising. Oh, I remember you from such and such in DC, that was
Right.
cool. And, we wanted to do that. So we took them from their own networking group and then put them in the group with people that were professionals as well, for them to give mentorship and things like that. So that's something that we, kind of did. And we did that for a few months. And then truthfully, I mean, this wasn't planned to be like this at the start, but I mean, at the end of the summer, we had what we called a tailgate, which we had
Not the tail.
well, because it wasn't like at a game. It wasn't at a game or anything like that. We just went to a park, and like it was like sports was coming back, football was coming back, so it was like we weren't barbecuing. It was just
Outside.
it felt the sports atmosphere of outside and
Yeah.
like a tailgate in a sense. So that's what we did, a tailgate. And we had a lot of people come through, and the valuable part of that, and which will happen for other chapters and such as well. Once we get back to normalcy, it's like, oh yeah, I remember you on the Zoom call, and people were having that relationships. I like they remembered the other person, and so that's what we really want to build, is those really strong and tight knit relationships, helping the younger generation as well. And then lastly, obviously we have our platform of BSP DC and Instagram and such, and so we would highlight people. Someone gets a new job or someone gets a promotion and things like that. That's something that we did. Jennifer King, who's everywhere now and just so amazing. We did a roundtable discussion with her just to kind of understand what she's doing in the community and with DC, and now she's the first Black professional woman that's a coach in the NFL. So so we see someone that we talked to early in the summer. So it's just a lot of these things, pushing forward the community, highlighting our members, networking, and obviously educating the younger generation.
I love that. So our audience, we get the student athlete. He's on the way back from practice or in between workouts or classes, and we really are trying to engage our audience to get them to start thinking about plan A, because at the end of the day, playing whatever or participating in your sport will end eventually. It's not a plan B, it's a plan A, because no one can play their sport forever unless you're a golfer and you're Phil Nicholson and you can play till you're like 79.
Yeah.
Plan A is preparing for that career, and we try to get them to think about joining associations like Black Sports Professionals. So what is it that you're telling some of your what are some of the tips or advice that you're getting or you're sharing with your young professionals who are part of BSP, or that you're having conversations with young professionals to get them engaged to with BSP? Like, why should I just graduated or I'm about to graduate, I live in the DC area, why should I want to be a part of BSP DC?
Yeah, I mean, I think, everybody that's starting their career, right, has questions. Anybody that's starting a new job is like, what's this going to be like? What should I do? How do I interact in, especially your first job? And so from there, having a network of people that can help you out, that look like you and, come from the same backgrounds as you and have progressed and succeeded in that career can help, foster your development and growth. They also may know people at your job, especially at an organization, like, oh, you're in this department, like I can help you out. I can give you a tour. I can show you where this is at, or that is at, or this person you should talk to, things like that. So like just that aspect of it alone is like, you have a group of people that's there to help you, they want to see you succeed. Also, as you're progressing and whether you want to find another job, like this is a network of people that can help you, with find another job. We share, jobs and things like that with each other. So that's great. I think that aspect alone is important. But I think the aspect even before that of, how do they even get there? And you're talking about the plan A. And so just a step before the person gets the job, I think is, do people even know about these careers in sports? Because, and that's important because I didn't know that I could work in sports until I was like 28, 29 years old. I knew I could be a coach or, a GM or an agent, but, those didn't seem like attainable.
Right.
And sort of what you were saying is like, there's a player, and you're playing in the sport and that's not going to last forever. But was sort of told to us was like, find something to do. And it wasn't like keep your passion and use that passion to continue moving forward. So your passion and what you were saying, your plan A, your passion and plan A is sports. Okay, cool. If it doesn't do this, you could still stay in that realm and continue
Right.
moving forward. But I didn't know that that existed. So what we're doing as well is, you know, showcasing what different careers in sports look like. And so, you know, if someone is like, oh, I'm good at sales, I think I'm going to be doing in marketing. People always talk to me all the time now about analytics, and they're interested in that whole first money ball, and then that's transitioning. So a lot of these things are, people are opening their eyes to seeing what's possible. And so we're like, you know, helping people know what's possible. Then when they see what's possible and start taking those careers, then we're having a network for them to offer advice, offer help, and just, you know, be a guide for them on their career, you know, throughout.
Real talk, do you see the young professionals in your organization take advantage, or do you feel like you have to kind of coach them? And if you are, what is it that you're doing to try to get them to, because we get we share a lot of these resources and we're always hearing, oh man, I'm a little intimidated, or I don't know how to go about it, or, all these reasons why they don't just do it. So what are you doing to get them to just do it?
I mean, a lot of times they are doing it when they come to me, because a lot of times when they get to me, it's almost like they're the ones that took the initiative to send me a LinkedIn message, or they're the one that spoke to you and then you connected them to me, or whatever that is. They are taking that initiative. If someone's not taking that initiative, like, I mean, it's tough, because I then just have to tell them, like, I tell people all the time, you need internships. I mean, I see one of my classmates on the call right now, and she knows she's working in sports right now. She's one of the few people from our grad school, including me, that are working in sports. So, and we went to school for sports. So if you're in school, definitely networking is huge. I mean, it's everything. Having internships is very important as well. Like, I had some of the best internships at the top places in New York. And for me, still having that and network, it was still difficult for me to find my first job. And so someone that's not even doing what I'm doing, or as much as I did, and/or what other people are doing, people that are reaching out to me and like really wanting to talk to me, get to know other people, doing all the things that, and putting themselves out there and really grinding, they're going to be behind. And I just have to let them know that, because this is an industry where it's very competitive, especially, entry level. There are hundreds. I mean, I'm hearing of positions and thousands of applications, and people that I know that are great resume wise, internship wise, all of this, know people, they're even having troubles, So I think really it's telling everyone for real, like, you have to be on your A game. You have to be on top of it, and really, really networking and truthfully, this is sort of a quote that I say to people all the time. This is one of my favorites. It's like, with networking, it's not, and I think a lot of students feel this way, of they want to add me on LinkedIn and be my LinkedIn friend or whatever. And so, like, I tell them that doesn't mean anything, like being someone's LinkedIn network friend.
It's not my space.
It doesn't mean anything, right? What means something. So, or in another sense, I always use Barack Obama, right? And so,
y'all cool like that?
I wish. so Barack Obama, I follow him on Instagram and Twitter and things like that, but he doesn't know me. Like, and I would love for him to know me. And that's how people should look at everyone in sports that is in a career, like, once the person should get to know you, not for you to know them. And so if you add them on LinkedIn, if you add me on LinkedIn, it's like, and I accept, that doesn't mean I know you. That doesn't mean I can write you a recommendation or pass your resume on or anything like that. And so what you do with networking is you have to foster that relationship. So it's not just reaching out to me the first time. It's actually reaching out to me again and following up. Let me know what you're doing in your career, things like that. And I tell every single person that, like, I want Barack Obama to give me a recommendation. And, so how do I do that? I would need to keep talking to him and build that relationship. Just like you do with a friendship or a romantic relationship, anything like that. It takes time to work on it. And so the students that I talk to, I tell them they need to do the same thing. It's not just a one-time conversation. And even telling people that who are grinding, I would even say like 5% of the people are the ones that then follow up and reach back out to me. It just
Yes.
doesn't happen. It's not a thing of continuous outreach. And it's fine. They don't have to reach out to me, but like it's the thing that I won't be the person that can give them a recommendation or pass them on to someone else, or like that's the thing that really fosters growth. It's not just the LinkedIn connection or a one-time conversation. It's really building, a true relationship with that person. So I just think that's super important.
I like that because it's something like, if we're LinkedIn friends, engage with my stuff. Like my stuff, applaud, share it, post it, like show me that you're interested in what I have to say before you're like, hey, I see that you know this so and so, can you make an introduction? If the only time I hear from you is transactional, then I'm not really gonna feel you like that, right? But if you're like,
Yep.
I notice that you like my stuff all the time and you share certain type of articles that I post, like, okay, I see that there might be a vibe here. I might even set up some time, but you got to put in a little bit of effort, right? Like,
For sure.
be a little bit more engaging. And so,
Someone put a
oh
like
yeah,
costs nothing.
listen,
That's for real.
that's something I say all the time. Like, likes don't pay bills. Like, that
Yep.
doesn't do. You got to put a little bit more effort in it too. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, I like that you talk about that. And I think it's one thing, like, don't just sign up for BSP and get all these emails and never do anything, right? Don't be a passive member of any organization. Like, it does nothing for you. Eventually, you're going to have to pay membership dues, right? And so you're going to be just throwing money away. So what are you telling to people who are like those serial, I'm going to just be in every group because it looks good on my resume or it looks good on my LinkedIn to be a part of this group?
Truthfully, I have never said anything to someone like that, but I do see it, right? Like I do see that
This is
happening.
your chance. Now you can say something.
I mean, I will say this. So, what we did last year is we highlighted one Black professional each day for Black History Month. And each day we would post who the person is, what they're doing, just to sort of obviously give people their flowers, but also let people know about the careers in sports. Also, we're doing that again this year. And so, one, a lot of the people that I reached out to then to kind of get them involved with that, those are people that I'm gotten a lot closer to over the past year. And so whether
Right.
they're on the board now with BSP or they've helped out with events or they've, come to different things that we've done, that's amazing. Other people as well who I've seen who have supported us, come to events, wanting to be, want to get networking and want to be involved. When I'm thinking of those people to highlight or recognize for this year, it's like, oh yeah, we got to highlight this person. They came to all our events. They did this. They participated. They want to network and meet people, And so it allows me to sort of invest in them as well because I want to give them their shine and highlights and things. And they're also on the top of my mind and I remember them, doing those things. So just being a passive person, just in general, especially a part of groups, it doesn't do anything. Like you wanna dive in and really get a chance to get the most out of it. And the most of the things that we're trying to do are for our members, and help them out. So it only would be beneficial for a person to take part in. I mean, I understand people have their own lives and they can't do everything, but if you're just sitting on the sideline the entire time, that's not going to help either. So
It's not gonna help. Well, this is I love to bring on people who are leading organizations like BSP in their local area because I think it's important for all of us to really come together to understand like the bigger the movement, the louder we are. When we are coming together, our organizations where we're working, they have to pay attention to us.
yeah,
We can't, if I'm just being loud by myself, banging on the table, they're like, okay, Kareem, whatever. But if it's like, here are 150 of my peers, just in this city alone, and there's another 300 in DC, and there's another 200 in Milwaukee, then people really have to pay attention. The industry has to pay attention to what we're trying to do and what we're fighting for. And it's really like, it's not a pie.
yeah,
It's just because we take a little slice doesn't mean you don't get to eat. Like we can all
exactly,
eat at the table.
exactly.
And so I appreciate what you're doing in DC. And I remember when you came on our call for BSP, you mentioned, and I remember this because I loved it that you are so genuine in saying this. And you said, if anybody's ever come to DC, hit us up. We're going to find you a place to stay.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's something that most people don't even think about, how genuine that is. But think about when I was young and I was trying to find every event that I could volunteer, and I could get the volunteer opportunity, but they're like, we're not paying your hotel, we're not paying none of this. If I can reach into a network and say, hey guys, I got opportunity to volunteer for training camp with Washington football team, but I don't have a place to stay. Oh, I know I'm connected with CJ and BSP DC. I'm gonna hit him up. He's gonna find me a place to stay.
Yep.
So
yeah,
I don't know if you remembered that.
Yeah, no, I do remember. I mean, we're there to help. You know what I mean? And we wanna offer all of those types of things. Like we're the resource there, because when we went through this, we didn't have those types of resources. We didn't have those type of resources just in general, but also for people that look like us. And that's the other hard part of, like, there's no one out there like that. And there are people out there like that, but they were all siloed in their own industry and like feeling lonely. And now we're trying to bring everybody out. Like, oh, you're there by yourself. Come on, come out with us. We're doing this and we're working. And people have their own networks and own ways to help. And so we're there as a resource. And I want, and not as a resource for people that's not a part of us, but people that obviously BSP Atlanta and all of the other BSP, chapters as well. Like, that's something that we want to do. And we've been around a little bit longer. So we're there to help. We're there to offer resources and best practices and all of those things. So
anything, what you guys got coming up exciting that you're trying to promote, or what you guys have coming down the pipe?
Yeah, so we have the, we're doing the highlights for Black History Month again. So we're starting that on Monday. And then we're working on like a conference for, for the youth and to show them careers in sports. So we're working on different panels and what that looks like and just the logistics around it. So we're targeting, I think it's end of March for when we're going to do that. So a nice February event and a nice March event. That's going to be like a conference. And then we're just taking it from there, continue to push forward our initiatives. And that's, as long as we know what those are and continue to move in that direction, then I think we'll be good.
Awesome. What is the last thing that you want that young professional, that student they probably watching this in between their TikToks or whatever, they're watching it later. What is it that you want them to know about this industry, about starting their journey in this space?
Believe in yourself, because trust in what you truly enjoy and what you like to do, and follow that path, and it will lead you in the right direction. Also, humble yourself. You can have an internship. And I was in grad school and I was doing internships in sports, and people that I was reporting to were younger than me. And I'm like having to carry tables or set up for game days and doing grunt work. But like, it wasn't an older, younger thing. If I had an ego, like that wouldn't have helped me out. So don't come in with an ego, and I think the last thing is, and I heard this when I was at MLB for an internship, sort of only look at your own path. Don't look at someone else's path and view their situation. So and this person said, there are jobs and internships that I got that I probably wasn't the best candidate. On the reverse end, times that I felt like I was the best candidate, similar situations I did not get. And so you can't look at, oh man, this person got this, or how are they getting all this stuff, and how come I'm not getting all this stuff? Celebrate your peers, follow your own path. Everybody has a different path. And, just trust in what you believe in, trust in what you feel passionate about, and just move forward in that direction. And don't have an ego.
I love it. Celebrate your peers. Two things you said: give people flowers. I'm all about that right now too. And celebrate your peers. I appreciate your time and your energy. For sure. I love that. These conversations are meant to be direct to the point. You came in, you did the dang thing. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you having me.
Yes, we talk about BSP DC. I gotta build my network up there. I got Chocolate City, I guess. That's what it is.
Yeah. When the world opens up, you know what I mean, and we're fully gonna be live in DC for sure.
Listen, I've never been to DC as an adult.
Oh,
as an adult.
Yeah. We'll get you right out here for sure.
Noted. I appreciate you, and thank you again for taking your time.
Thanks for having me. All right, see you later.
Peace. That was CJ Simmons from BSP Atlanta. I appreciate all those who joined for the first time or returners. We try to have these conversations every Wednesday to influence the next generation of minorities in sports entertainment. You can catch this episode on our YouTube and our IGTV. Follow us on all platforms at The We Leadership. Visit our website, wegamechange.org, for our newsletter and to hear or to see all of our programs. And check us out next Wednesday, as many Wednesdays as people will have me. I appreciate everybody being here, and I'll talk to you soon.